สัพพะทุกขานิสรณะนิพพานะสัจฉิการนัตถายะเอตังกาสาวังคัตตวาปัปภาเชขมังคันเตอนุกัมปังอุปาทายะสัพพะทุกขานิสรณะนิพพานะ
Good morning, welcome to the monastery. Sawadee Don Chao. Nice to see so many people here to support the ordination of our 11 temporary novices. Buddhists who have faith in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, generally when there's a new monk or nun arising in the world, makes them very happy. We like to see more ordained people in the world because it's not easy to become a Buddhist monk, even if only for a short while. Even wearing this robe is difficult. You ask the new candidates, they'll say that's their biggest headache, just wearing the robe, putting it on, because it keeps falling off. It's a skill you have to learn. But shaving the head is easy enough, putting the robe on. But the hard part is actually practicing, keeping the rules, practicing mindfulness, learning to be aware of yourself. But that's why we do it. You come away from your home, your work, your normal lifestyle, come and live in the forest, learn to meditate and watch your mind. The idea being that you can deepen your practice and understand more clearly where your stress and suffering comes from. That's the purpose of the monastic lifestyle. The Buddha called it a training. And training maybe is not such an attractive proposition because you think, oh, more training? Haven't I done enough in life? We train at school or college, we train for work, jobs. But to train your mind, you need to actually practice. You need the discipline, you need the effort. And that's how the monastic lifestyle was developed. It's for training ourselves. So you'll see we all eat one meal a day in a bowl, one set of clothes, one hairstyle. We live in the forest. We do a lot of sitting and walking meditation, which doesn't look very exciting from the outside. But actually it can be quite challenging to meditate. Anyone who's tried it, you'll know your mind is not always very cooperative. Most people, they say, I want to meditate to make my mind peaceful and happy. And then the first thing they encounter is a mind that's just thinking too much. So many memories, so many issues in our life that keep coming up when we sit down to meditate. Some people even sit there and have an argument with themselves. You think, why are you arguing with yourself? You're just making yourself unhappy. But we do that, don't we? Half the time we don't even notice. Some people meditate and they end up crying. You say, why are you crying? You're just sitting there, it's totally peaceful, nobody's bothering you, but you can still get yourself worked up into a state, maybe remembering something that happened in the past, or worrying about the future, and you end up crying. But it's because we practice in this way that you learn about yourself, you can get beyond your stress, your suffering. If you never look, you never observe yourself, then you'll never understand, you'll never get beyond it. So this is why we do it, this is why we come and live in the forest, practice meditation. It's to improve ourselves, improve our minds, find more peace, more happiness. But it does take some effort. So I guess that's why you're here today. You're giving your support to the efforts of the regular monks and then the new monks who will be joining today. Because it's a good thing, isn't it? It's a good thing for them, it's a good thing for everyone. And also in Buddhism, we say when you ordain as a Buddhist monk or a nun, you can dedicate the merit, the goodness of that to your family. So everyone gains from it. And the Buddha said it brings your family closer to the teachings. And we all need that because we forget them so easily. So today you've come forth to request novice ordination, which is called papaja. That means going forth, leaving the home life. come and live in the forest and follow the training of the Dhamma Vinaya. Vinaya just means the monastic discipline, the rules, the practices of a Buddhist novice monk. And so the main rules you undertake today are the 10 training rules. To refrain from killing living creatures, refrain from taking what is not given, to refrain from any form of sexual activity, so to be celibate, to refrain from lying or using abusive, harsh speech, to refrain from taking drink or intoxicants, to refrain from eating in the evening, to refrain from indulging in entertainments or adorning yourself with jewelry, refrain from sleeping on a high or luxurious bed, and to refrain from using money. So these are the basic rules of a novice monk, and you use this just to develop that sense of mindfulness, restraint while you're living in the monastery, wearing the robes, receiving food and support from the lay community. And the reason the Buddha encouraged us to practice with these training rules and develop mindfulness around them is to help us restrain our minds so that we can see our own minds. Normally we don't see our minds very well because they're always going out to the world, thinking of many things, and whatever we think of, we do or we say. Often we're not very mindful at all. But when you come into a monastery, these training rules help you to be a bit more disciplined and more aware of yourself. And then you have a chance to start rooting out some of the stress and suffering from your mind. So even though it can be a bit challenging, training in the monastery, the result is good. It helps you to be more peaceful, gain more understanding. And it's also a foundation for practicing meditation, what we call gammatana. And the way the Buddha taught meditation, he said we should begin by focusing our attention on the body, our human body or physical body. And when you look at a person, what do you see? Well, you'll see their hair, their skin, their nails, their teeth. So these are the first 5 meditation objects you learn when you're practicing meditation on the body, just to bring attention to these 5 objects, become mindful of them, and then contemplate to see the impermanent nature of your own body. Our body doesn't stay still or fixed. It's constantly changing, aging. Sometimes it gets tired or sick. One day we get old and we die. The Buddha encouraged us just to pay attention to that so that we can be more, our thinking and our awareness can be more in line with truth, and we become more aware of the impermanent nature of the world. So I'll be giving these 5 meditation objects in forward and reverse order, in using the Pali language for those 5 parts of the body, and you can repeat after me. Kesa, Loma, Nakha, Danta, Tacho, Danta, Nakha, Loma, Kesa, Loma, Nakha, Danta, Tacho, Danta, Nakha, Loma, Kesa, Loma, Nakha, Danta, Tacho, Danta, Nakha, Loma, Kesa. One of the new novices has the name Kantiko. They each get a Pali name, each of the monks, each of the novices. And Kantiko means one who is patient. So it's a very good name to have when you're practicing in the monastery, because you need lots of patience with your own mind, with the conditions, Just as you've all got to be patient sitting here, because there's so many novices, it's going to take a while for them to put their new robes on. There's another new novice called Metiko, which means one who has kindness, goodwill. And it's another quality you need. You need to forgive the new novices if their robes don't look perfect, or if they make a mistake, because they're just beginning their training. There's another novice called Samahito. So you probably know the word samadhi, which means the peaceful mind that we develop through meditation. Samahito means one who has samadhi. So each novice is given a name to inspire them. It doesn't necessarily mean they have that quality yet. They have to aspire, they have to work towards it. So sometimes we need that in life, we need a goal. So if we have a good name, that name is always reminding us of our goal. So like when I ordained, I was given the name Kalyano, which means one who is good, or even one who is beautiful. So I said, what does that mean? Why are you giving me the name beautiful? And my preceptor said, beautiful in the Dhamma. Not beautiful necessarily in the body, but beautiful in the mind. And we use that phrase, don't we? We say the beautiful mind. It's a reminder we have to cultivate the beautiful states of mind, such as kindness, patience, generosity, compassion, mindfulness. Even wisdom is considered beautiful because it frees the mind from stress. When you have a wisdom in your mind, you know that all your stressful thoughts are impermanent. And what's impermanent is not really you. It's just a temporary state of mind. And when you're mindful of that, you can let them go. The reason we get stressed is because we don't see the impermanence of our thoughts. We cling on to them, identify with each thought, make them really big, important in our mind. We believe them all, and then we get stressed and caught out by them. So each Pali name is like a little teaching that the novice can remember every day, and that can guide them in what they have to do. It also makes you mindful when you're given a Pali name, you become more respectful of your fellow monks and novices. Out in the world, when you see your friend or someone you know, you just say, hey, you, come here, do this, do that. But when you have a Pali name and you're wearing these robes, it makes you a little bit more mindful how you treat the other people around. Because these robes, the Buddha said the robes they're representing him, the Buddha. We have these robes because of the Buddha. So every time you put them on, you're reminding yourself of the Buddha, and you're inclining your mind closer to the Buddha. Doesn't mean to say you're perfect. You still have all your faults and weaknesses maybe, but you are thinking of the Buddha, inclining towards the Buddha. So again, when you put the robes on, it makes you mindful. When you hear your name in Pali, it makes you mindful. Everything we do, all the different practices we do in the monastery, they help us to be more aware. And so you benefit from that. With awareness, we get understanding. If you can see your own stressful thoughts or some unpleasant, painful memories when they come up, if you can see them as they really are, you know they're just impermanent mental states. They arise, they pass away. Then you can let go, and you don't feel so oppressed or burdened by your own suffering. So they compare all the negative mental states we have with the clouds in the sky. Like you can see today, nice blue sky, not many clouds, and the clouds come into the sky and then they pass away after a while and they disappear. All your stressful thoughts are like that, aren't they? Even if they're unpleasant to be with, when you have a thought of anger or fear or jealousy or rage, when it's there, it's unpleasant, but if you know it's temporary, then you can watch it and let it go. But you have to practice to do that. You have to bring up the mindfulness. One of the novices was saying, I came to practice the Dhamma, why do I still have all these negative thoughts? Well, that's why we practice. You can't expect them all just to disappear in one day. You come into the monastery, you see your mind, you see what's there. Then you start practicing. Before you can let go of something, you've got to see it. It's like your own house. Maybe you've got a room that's really dirty or dark, and you hardly go in there, so it gets lots of dirt. If you're going to clean the room up, the first thing you've got to do is walk in the room and have a look and see what's there. And you may say, oh, too much rubbish, junk, dirt. But at least once you've seen it, then you know what you have to do to clean it up. So coming into the monastery is like coming into your own mind, and you start to see your mind, then you can start improving it. But if you never do that, and you never see, then you never really understand how to let go of your stress, your worries, your suffering. So over the next few weeks, if any of you are in Melbourne, you can come up, maybe offer some food to our Sangha. There'll be about 20 of us living here, so quite a lot of mouths to feed. And there's never too little food, but still, if you want to come and show your support for those practicing, you can. Or you can practice at home. When you know there are monks and novices here practicing meditation every day, chanting, practicing mindfulness. When you're at home, you think of the monastery, and then you get some inspiration to do your own practice at home. Many people have holidays now, Christmas holiday, New Year holiday. Usually we look at Christmas as a time to eat too much, drink too much, talk too much, indulge too much, watch movies, whatever. Maybe you could say, this year I'm going to do more meditation, listen to some of the Buddhist teachings, meditate, do it slightly differently. You have that chance. Just like all the candidates have come to ordain today. They're using their holiday time to meditate and do something really good. We don't know how long we've got, do we? Who knows what we'll be doing next year, next week. Better to practice the Dhamma now while you have the chance, rather than put it off, say, oh, I'll do it next year. Or there's those people who say, I'll do it when I'm old. When I'm old and I'm retired, then I'll go to the temple and I'll meditate. And when they are old and they're tired and they're worn out, having worked all their life, and they go to the temple and say, oh, now I'm going to meditate. And they sit down for 5 minutes and they say, my knees hurt, my back hurts, I can't do it. Don't wait until you're too old. Try it when you're younger. It's what the Buddha was always doing. He's always encouraging people to practice more. Do it. Use your time, because we don't know how long we've got. No one can say how long they'll live. We all want to live to 100 years old, but whether we live till we're 50 or 70 or 100, we really don't know, do we? And even if you live to 100, it's going to be maybe a bit challenging learning to meditate when you're 80 or 90. Learn it now. I don't think anyone here is quite 100 years old yet, so while you're young enough, learn now. Learn to meditate, listen to Dhamma, do your chanting. Sabbara gawini muitawa sabbasanta bhavachito sabbavira kanto nibbutawa jatavam bhavasabhiti vivachantu sabbara gawina satu te bhavandvantarayo sukhi te gayuko bhava apivadana sile satyamvata bachayino jataro Namavatanti ayuvanno sukham วิรุลโหพุทธศาสนิอโรโกสุขิโตโหหิสหัสสะเปหิญาติปิโสอัตตลาโตสุขิโตวิรุลโหพุทธศาสนิอโรโกสุขิโตโหหิสหัสสะเปหิญาติปิโสอัตตลาโตสุขิโตวิรุลโหพุทธศาสนิอโรโกสุขิโตโหหิสหัสสะเปหิญาติปิภวัตุสัมปมังคลังรากันตุสัมปเทวตาสัมปพุทธานุภาเวสดาโสติภวันตุเตภวัตุสัมปมังคลังรากันตุสัมปเทวตาสัมปนัมมานุภาเวนัสดาโสติภวันตุเตภวัตุสัมปมังคลังรากันตุสัมปเทวตาสัมปสังฆานุภาเวนัสดาโสติ